Taylor. I've looked over your lesson plans and just using the rubric that I gave you guys in class, we'll go over section by section and I'll tell you areas where you did a good job and areas where I'd like to see some changes. So starting with elements and presentation, everything looks completed here. I had to wonder when you put that students know how to present claims in a focused, coherent manner and have used media devices to enhance their claim. And when I saw that was in eighth grade, um, just from my experience, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I can't imagine a 12-year-old having to being able to do that so well that I don't even have to review the information with them. So I'll point out some areas where I think you could deepen your direct instruction a little bit below. Okay. In the desired results section, I was glad to see that you had drilled down to 2 specific evidence outcomes and that you had aligned well to those in your lesson plan. Your essential questions for global are well done because those are real world questions with real world implications. And your essential questions content area are also well done. I think that they align to your established goals, and I think they flow very nicely out from the content which you're having them look at. Students will understand and students will be able to. So I want you to flip-flop these a little bit. The formula that says use a piece from the standards, then have the word by, then make an observable outcome, we want that and the students will be able to. Think about it this way. Students will be able to, in other words, they already have the ability and they can demonstrate it to me, as opposed to students will understand. Those things are much softer skills that I can't always observe. So move these 3 pieces over here and then see what you need to do with these pieces right here. So, confidently speak in front of groups by, sharing by sharing a media or an individual presentation that uses media sources. Okay, so you may need to back some of these off because what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 objectives altogether, and for one lesson plan, that's way too many. And I'm going to point out areas below where I want you, like I said, to really deepen your direct instruction, which is going to take time. I wonder if what you wrote here is actually more 2 lesson plans worth of objectives that need to be addressed. Okay. The assessment area, as you know, I'm not really grading that per se yet. I'm checking it for alignment and completion, and you meet both of those criteria well. So, on to the learning plan. Obviously, you've done a good job at starting with a common human experience and even checking them for understanding before they delve into that experience. So, very nicely done there. Then I love your formative assessment that you just simply ask them, what similar situation does Scout find herself in? It's nice because, I mean, it is an assessment. It does tell you who read and who didn't read, but it also doesn't feel test-like. And it has a very solid connection to the piece that you asked them to start with in class. So I think that is very well done there. Like that a lot. Okay. You talk to them about a little bit of content. In other words, what the instruction, or excuse me, the correct answer was from the quiz up here, basically. Okay. I'm not actually going to call this direct instruction though, because this is actually just summarization of the text they were supposed to read, and direct instruction is different than that because it's whereby we specifically teach them how to engage in the skills we want them to engage in. So how to do the pieces from the evidence outcomes. Okay. So I would move this subheader of direct instruction down to probably just down to right here. Okay. So that this piece ends up being the closing of the hook, and then direct instruction starts right here. Okay. So excellent. Do you ask them to recall the best way to support a claim? They say yes, claim data warrant. Perfect. I'm so glad you remembered that so quickly. And then you move on. Okay. This is one of those moments where I want you to pause. Simply being able to recall the words that are used to identify a strategy or a technique, for argumentation and for writing, is very different than being able to apply those techniques. So this is an instance where I want you to pause and do some more direct instruction. I want the words claim data warrant, I want definitions for claim data warrant, and I want an example for claim data warrant. Because that way, when you ask them to go do claim data warrant, they've got a solid model from which to work. Okay. Here's the next instance where I want you to expand your direct instruction. You say we're going to use media examples. What's media examples? Pictures, videos, celebrities talking about a product, okay? Right here is where I want you to do some more direct instruction. We want our students, well, bear with me while I scroll really quick, but all the way back up to your evidence outcome, okay? We want our students to use appropriate media to demonstrate reasoning and explain decisions. That's very different than saying use media to explain decisions. We want appropriate media. In other words, there's a criteria. Some media is acceptable, some media is not. Some media is appropriate, some media is not. That's what your direct instruction needs to be. So, and crack your brain open a little bit and think about this, right? If they were going to build a claim about X, okay, letting, I don't know, asking their parents for, more allowance for doing chores around the house, okay? Use a funny, really relatable example like that, right? What kinds of pictures and videos would you use? And why would you use them? And then throw a couple example pictures up there. Out of these 3 pictures that I found, they all look like they've got kids in them or parents in them. Which one of these would you use and why? Let the kids play with it and let the kids own this skill of being able to pick and justify appropriate media. So that way, when you release them to work, they have applied ideas of claim data warrant. They have applied the skill of choosing appropriate media, and then you're asking them to synthesize that information, okay? So I hope that makes a little sense how I want some more direct instruction in there, and truthfully, by the time you add the more direct instruction in there, you're probably going to end up with 2 whole lesson plans. Right here. So that continues with that. Good. Right here, you tell students, stand up straight, don't fidget, be confident and clear, don't rush. Now, some kids are going to be able to do that because they can do that. Some kids are not going to be able to do that just for whatever reason people don't do that. You simply telling students what they do is not enough to get them there. You need to have some guided modeling and some practice for them, so that you model the not only what fidgeting looks like and what fidgeting doesn't look like, because I think a lot of people know that, but why does it matter when we're public speaking? Not rushing versus going slow, because I think people can hear that, but why that kind of a thing matters. And then if you find yourself fidgeting, what are the strategies you need to help yourself stop fidgeting? If you find yourself rushing, what are the strategies you need to help yourself from rushing? Having everyone just stand up and practice next to their desk or something like that. So I really feel like this is the 3rd and final instance that I would like some more direct instruction from you, so that it moves from just telling the students what to do and giving them parameters for what to do. It moves beyond that into teaching them the skills of what it is that they need to do so that they can move ahead and produce this summative assignment for you. Okay, so a little bit of work to be done on this one. I think what you have here is good. I just want you to press a little deeper into it. Okay, thank you.